The brutal demise of Russia's royal family. Crowned in 1896, Tsar Nicholas II never really wanted to rule. He was not a popular monarch. The Bolshevik Revolution of 1917 forced him to abdicate. Nicholas wanted to take his family as far away as possible. They requested asylum from King George V of England, Nicholas's cousin, but the king turned them down for political reasons. Nicholas, his wife Alexandra, and their 5 children were exiled to Yekaterinburg. The remote city was far from the capital, Petrograd. But civil war broke out in Russia in June 1918. Anti-Bolshevik forces were advancing on Yekaterinburg. The Bolsheviks in the city decided to act. Originally, the Romanovs were imprisoned in a small house. They had a tiny garden and were allowed to walk outside. The family members kept themselves busy with work and studies. The 5 children, aged 13 to 22, were allowed to have a tutor. They would take daily classes and help the staff around the house. The Romanovs wrote letters, read the Bible, and tried to keep a brave face. It was not a comfortable existence, but they endured. Armed guards watched their every step and censored their letters. But the royals never looked down on their captors. In fact, the Romanov children made friendly conversation with the soldiers. But the Civil War changed everything. Old guards were replaced and the prison regime was toughened. Nicholas was stripped of all his military ranks. Every family member was issued numbered IDs. The children were no longer allowed outside. The night of July 16, 1918 was to be their last. The Romanovs and their 4 servants were ordered to dress quickly. They were taken down to the cellar. The guards said the house was becoming unsafe. They told the Romanovs to wait in the cellar for a truck. The truck would supposedly take them to a new, safer location. Alexandra asked for some chairs as it was painful for her to stand. Her request was answered. A few minutes later, an execution squad was brought in. Yakov Yurovsky, the chief executioner, whipped out a paper. He read it aloud.
Nikolai Alexandrovich, in view of the fact that your relatives are continuing their attack on Soviet Russia, the Ural Executive Committee has decided to execute you.
Nicholas, facing his family, turned and said,
"What? What?"
Then the executioners opened fire. The Romanovs were gunned down. Those who were still breathing when the smoke cleared were stabbed to death. The bodies were dumped in a mine shaft and doused with sulfuric acid. This was the end of Russia's last royal family.